Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs, presents the official podcast of Dawgs on Demand on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. On today's program, we'll give you the latest news from the world of University of Georgia athletics and more. And now, from the broadcast studios of Dawgs on Demand, here's your host, Chris Hall.
Touchdown! All right, Chris Hall here for Dawgs on Demand on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and all those other places. It's good to have you with us on our program today. Today we have Taylor Rish with us. Taylor's a junior defender for the University of Georgia women's soccer team. And Taylor, welcome to the program, and we're so happy to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. Happy that you guys gave me the chance to come on.
Absolutely. Now, you're a junior at the University of Georgia. You know, Taylor, I was thinking today as, thinking about our interview, around the world, soccer is known as football. And now in the U.S., we call it soccer. Around the world, it's football. So have you ever told anybody that you play football for the University of Georgia?
I have not, but I did go to London in high school for like an Olympic development team, and they called it football over there. So we kind of used it then.
Yeah. I think you ought to pick that up. I just tell them, if you want to really blow somebody's mind, tell them you play football for the University of Georgia. Well, let's talk a little bit about your experience, at the University of Georgia. Now, you had a great career in high school. You're from Alpharetta, Georgia. Talk a little bit about your high school career and how that set you up to go to the University of Georgia.
Yeah, so soccer is like really big with club soccer, not as much high school for recruiting wise, which is a little different than football. So I played club soccer at Concord, ECNL, and then ended up doing DA for the spring semester of my senior year before COVID started because I wanted to prepare for college instead of playing high school soccer, which isn't as great of competition before I got here. So I think it set me up pretty well. I had some great coaches at Concord that really helped develop me as a player and get me to where I needed to be before I came in here. Now,
Concord is around the Alpharetta, Georgia area. Is that correct?
Probably more towards Atlanta.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Now, the women's soccer team for the University of Georgia. I guess first of all, let's talk a little bit about your seasons. Now, you're in a spring season right now, kind of exhibition matches against certain teams. But the schedule for the regular season for soccer that starts around August? Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And talk about a little bit about your spring season. Now, these are exhibition matches, of course. And what's going on with who do you play in these exhibition games? So
we're actually playing a couple of boys teams.
Okay.
I think they're younger because for NCAA rules that we can't play high school age teams. So we're playing, I think, the Concord Fire Boys and the Atlanta United Boys teams. And then I believe we're also playing Mercer and Clemson this spring. Not 100% sure on the other teams. Just recently got our schedule.
Right. So that kind of tunes you up, I guess, and keeps you tuned up as the regular season will be rolling around in March. You made reference to the fact that you play some boys teams. How is that? Do the boys really go after you, or I know you guys, you girls, you hang on really good against them. What are those matches like?
They're definitely competitive. I think there's a big difference between men's and women's soccer. So just speed of play and athleticism, I feel like they definitely have the advantage, which can only benefit us.
Right.
And then just more focusing on the principles of our game to best match them.
Yeah. Well, tell me about your college life. Now, you're an athlete at a major college. I can imagine, your schedule has to be so hectic year round. You're going to classes, you're keeping up academics, and I know you're a great student, and you're doing training, and I know it's a year-round thing to participate in major college sports. Talk to me a little bit about college life for you as an athlete at the University of Georgia.
Yeah, so it's definitely a time commitment for sure to be an athlete. I mean, all of our practices are in the morning, so afternoons, a lot of it is going to classes, focusing on studies, and I think some people are in like tutoring and stuff. I'm working an internship right now where I'm volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club for like Monday through Friday for the most part, which does take a lot of my free time. So mainly outside of soccer, I'm focusing on that in school. But I'm majoring in finance and sports management, so getting 2 degrees, which is also a time consuming task, but definitely love it. Wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah. Now you're helping out at the boys and girls clubs. What is that like? Are they kind of, really impressed that you're an athlete at the University of Georgia? I know you're there to help them, but what is that relationship like with those kids?
To an extent, they kind of just don't even recognize it. They'll ask me sometimes, they go, "Oh, do you go to Georgia?" I'm like, "Yeah," and then they just forget. So it's not as big of a deal as like it is really on campus being an athlete, which is kind of refreshing.
Yeah. Now, you talked about your majors are finance and sports management. After college life, what do you see yourself getting into? And you're a great soccer player. Have you thought about maybe professional soccer or something like that? What do you think after life at the University of Georgia?
So I'm also getting a certificate in legal studies. So plan on taking the LSAT at some point this spring and then going to law school after undergrad and potentially becoming a sports agent so I can stay connected to sports.
Yeah. Hey, I love the life plan. I love it. And you're taking advantage of your time at the University of Georgia. Now, of course, you're prepping up through this spring exhibition season and getting ready for, I guess you call it the fall season in soccer. Give me a scouting report on the women's team there at the University of Georgia. Just give me a good scouting report. You have some good returning players coming back, gearing up. Give me a good scouting report on your team.
Yeah, so we actually got quite a few transfers this spring. So I think that'll definitely help the team out. Our coaches were hired last December or November, I think. So it's kind of a big change from what the team was my freshman year. But I think the players that are returning from the fall are like very solid and deserve to be on the team. I think there's a lot of changes that have been made, but I think this fall is going to be the best season we'll have. And I think some of the freshmen and their new recruits will be pretty solid and help out a lot.
Now, last fall, the women's team from UGA made it to the second round of the NCAA tournament. I think you fell to North Carolina, which is a perennial power in women's soccer. That was pretty exciting to make the tournament, wasn't it?
It was definitely exciting. I think it was like, I could be completely wrong on this, but I think it was like almost 14 years since the women's soccer program here has made it to the second round of a tournament. So that was pretty great.
Yeah. What were those matches like in the NCAA tournament? We're getting ready for March Madness and women's and men's basketball and that kind of thing. And a lot of pressure there. And of course, we see it on television. And sometimes the soccer games are on the SEC network. What was that experience like? Was it like really pressure packed to be in the NCAA tournament? What was that like?
Yeah, it was definitely a different type of pressure than regular season games because we knew if we lost, our season was over. So it was definitely a higher importance placed on those games. Not that our regular season games didn't matter, but UNC was definitely a tough team to play against and hard to prepare for. But they ended up making it to the finals, and I think they lost it in the last 15 seconds of the finals. So they were definitely a solid team to go against that we unfortunately lost to.
Yeah, and I think UCLA, I believe, won the title against North Carolina. So that was a pretty tough competition to go after. The football team, of course, gets a lot of attention in these other sports. But you guys hang in there pretty good, for the other sports. Just, what is it like to be in the midst of all of that as it goes on?
It's really cool, especially since I feel like the athletes are put together a lot for the most part. So just knowing the people that are winning national championships or other athletes that are competing right now and being able to support them and being friends with them is honestly a super cool experience to have. And I don't know that I would have that if I wasn't playing a sport here.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Now, give a shout out to your coaches. Tell me about your coaching staff.
So my coaching staff is new. Coach Kadani McAlpine was hired after my sophomore season. So I guess 2 falls ago now. And I think he's done a great job with the program. He's completely turned it around, and he brought in a completely new staff, new strength coach, and we're fitter than we've ever been. Like, what he's done for the program has made a massive difference. And honestly, like, he's a very great coach.
Yeah. Yeah. Super. So, what's outside of academics now, outside of being involved with the soccer team, what's your favorite thing about Athens, and what's your favorite thing to do in Athens?
I'm trying to think. It's a lot. Definitely just like to hang out with my team a lot. We all live in the same neighborhood, so we'll tan together and like hang out and do a bunch of activities here, watch football games and stuff. Some of us go on like hikes or walks sometime, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, Athens is a cool city, isn't it? It is.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And you're close to home. So, I imagine when you have a match there at Georgia, you get a lot of family support, right?
Yeah, my parents try to come to as many games as possible. They're like an hour and a half away. So it's nice to have.
Now you're in the SEC, and the SEC is so competitive in every sport. What's it like to go on the road and to play an SEC opponent in their stadium? What's that like? Do you get a lot of razzing, or what is that like?
Yeah, it definitely depends on the school. Like A&M, they have yell leaders that like will heckle us, but it's kind of, like in the moment, it's easy to tune out, but like sometimes just a lot in the moment.
Yeah. Well, it's the SEC, and as they say, it just means more. And that's true in every sport. Well, Taylor, it's been so wonderful to have you with us on our program today. And we really, really, really appreciate it. I know you're a busy young lady, and good luck in the spring exhibition season, and good luck in the regular season. And hey, if you made it to the second round last year, let's go for it. Let's keep going, right?
Exactly. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Thank you, Taylor. And God bless you. And we wish you the best of luck. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Dawgs on Demand would like to thank Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs, for sponsoring our program today. When the time comes to finance or refinance your home, make the smart choice and get your home loan from Southeast Mortgage. Your friends at Southeast Mortgage are ready to help you. Visit southeastmortgage.com/UGA today for more information. Be sure to visit Dawgs on Demand on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and our great interactive website, dogsondemand.com. Join us for our next program as we keep you up to date with the latest sports news from the University of Georgia and more. Until then, be safe and go Dawgs.